One decision in episode 6 quietly flips the power in Landman season 2, and by the time it's over, nothing feels safe anymore. Jobs, loyalties, families, even freedom itself are suddenly on the line, and the scariest part is that the danger doesn't come from an explosion or a gun, but from a signature on paper and a smile across the table. Landman season 2 episode 6 is amazing because it finally shows us the true cost of survival in this world, and that cost is heavier than money. The episode opens with pressure closing in from every side, and you can feel it immediately. What once looked like a manageable mess now turns into a legal and moral nightmare. The company isn't just struggling financially anymore, it's standing on the edge of criminal collapse. Deadlines are no longer flexible, favors no longer come free, and every delay feels like a countdown to disaster. The tension doesn't scream, it suffocates. You're watching people realize that there are no clean exits left. At the center of all this is Cammy, and this episode proves she has changed completely. Earlier in the season, grief shaped every decision she made. Now, grief is no longer driving her. Control is. When she learns that the money she thought was protecting the company was never truly there, something in her hardens. This isn't just a business problem to her. It feels like a betrayal layered on top of loss. The company is the last piece of her husband that still exists in the real world, and letting it fall apart would feel like losing him again. That emotional weight explains why she refuses to accept the safest option on the table, even when everyone tells her it's the only logical move. The lawyers are brutally honest, which somehow makes everything worse. Bankruptcy would save the company's name, but it would destroy its soul. Years of work would be reduced to paperwork, ownership stripped away piece by piece. Cammy understands the risk, but she also understands what surrender looks like, and she refuses to do it. This is where episode 6 becomes truly dangerous, because her strength and her stubbornness are no longer separate things. They blend into one decision that changes the balance of power forever. Tommy sees the cliff clearly, and that's what makes this episode painful to watch. He isn't scared for himself as much as he's scared of what accepting help really means. He has already seen how deep the cartel connections run, how quickly deals turn deadly, and how easily protection becomes a trap. When he warns Cammy, it's not about fear, it's about experience. From the outside, the loan looks like survival. From the inside, it looks like money laundering, and that kind of suspicion doesn't fade quietly. It brings eyes, investigations, and consequences that don't care about good intentions. The moment Cammy shuts him down is one of the most powerful moments in the episode. Her words aren't loud, but they're final. She doesn't argue, she declares. She draws a line not just between choices, but between authority. This is the moment she becomes the boss in a way no one can ignore. And for Tommy, this is the beginning of loss. Not the loss of a job yet, but the loss of influence, trust, and protection. The ground under his feet starts to shift, and he knows it. What makes episode 6 so effective is that there are no villains announcing themselves. The danger wears confidence. It smiles calmly. When Galino speaks, he doesn't threaten, he reassures. He doesn't raise his voice, he lowers it. That's what makes him terrifying. He presents himself as the solution, and the worst part is that he's not lying. His presence fixes problems quickly, but every fix tightens the rope around everyone involved. By the end of this section, you can feel that the real conflict of the season has finally locked into place, and there is no going back. As episode 6 moves forward, the tension doesn't explode. It slowly poisons everything. The power shift that began quietly now becomes impossible to ignore. Tommy starts to feel it in the smallest moments, the pauses in conversations, the looks he's no longer included in, the decisions being made without him. This isn't just about authority being taken away, it's about trust being replaced. For someone like Tommy, who built his life on reading people and staying one step ahead, being pushed to the outside is almost unbearable. Galino understands this perfectly, and that's what makes him so dangerous. He never openly attacks Tommy. Instead, he positions himself closer and closer to Cammy, not aggressively, but naturally. Laughing at the right moments, listening when others talk too much, offering certainty where everyone else brings doubt. Watching him work is unsettling because it feels intentional. He's not rushing. He's letting distance grow on its own. And Tommy sees it happening in real time, unable to stop it without making himself look desperate or disloyal. This episode makes it painfully clear that Galino's strategy is emotional as much as it is financial. He doesn't just want control of the company, he wants influence over the people inside it. He starts planting subtle doubts, questions that don't sound like accusations, but linger long after they're spoken. He frames Tommy as cautious to the point of weakness, as someone stuck in old ways, someone who might hold the company back from its future. None of it is said directly, and that's the genius of it. Cammy isn't being manipulated by force, she's being guided by reassurance. Tommy's internal conflict becomes the emotional backbone of this section. He's torn between protecting Cammy from choices that could destroy her and protecting himself from becoming irrelevant. Every instinct tells him the deal is dangerous, but every move he makes to stop it pushes Cammy further away. The more he warns her, the more she sees him as an obstacle instead of an ally. This is the tragedy of episode 6. Tommy is right, but being right doesn't save you when power has already shifted. At the same time, the episode smartly mirrors the struggle through Cooper's storyline. Cooper truly believes he's finally made it. For the first time, he feels like he's stepped out of his father's shadow and into something real. But that confidence collapses almost instantly when reality catches up. The conversation between Cooper and Tommy is quiet, controlled, and devastating. Tommy doesn't insult him. He doesn't yell. He dismantles the fantasy piece by piece, showing him that oil alone means nothing without structure, planning, and accountability. What makes this moment hit so hard is that Cooper realizes he's been outplayed. The deal he was so proud of was never designed for him to win. It was clean, legal, and completely one-sided. And once he sees it, he can't unsee it. That realization drains him. It's the moment where ambition crashes into adulthood. He understands that excitement isn't the same as control, and freedom without knowledge is just another trap. Tommy stepping in to fix the situation feels like relief on the surface, but the episode makes sure that relief feels temporary. Yes, the collapse is avoided. Yes, Cooper is saved from financial ruin. But the cost is clear. Cooper is no longer chasing dreams. He's being pulled into responsibility. When Tommy offers him a job, it's not generosity, it's a challenge. Learn the rules or be destroyed by them. Bend them only after you understand them. That offer isn't just employment, it's a warning disguised as opportunity. By the end of this section, episode 6 makes one thing clear. Every character is being pushed toward a future they didn't fully choose. Cammy is stepping into power that isolates her. Tommy is losing ground even as he saves others. Cooper is trading illusion for responsibility. And Galino remains calm at the center of it all, watching the pieces fall exactly where he wants them. The pressure hasn't peaked yet, but it's building, and when it finally breaks, it won't break cleanly. The final stretch of episode 6 is where everything starts to feel inevitable. The choices made earlier no longer sit in theory. They begin to reshape lives in real time. Tommy, more than anyone, feels the weight of this shift. He isn't fired, threatened, or pushed out directly, but the message is clear. He is no longer at the center of decision-making. He's become someone who reacts instead of leads, and for a man whose identity is tied to control and foresight, that realization cuts deep. What hurts most is that Cammy doesn't see it as betrayal. In her mind, she's doing what needs to be done to protect the company and honor her husband's legacy. She believes strength means decisiveness, and decisiveness means not hesitating when an option presents itself. From her perspective, Tommy's caution feels like fear. From Tommy's perspective, her confidence feels reckless. That gap in understanding is what makes their relationship so fragile in this episode. They're standing on the same ground, but looking in completely opposite directions. Galino continues to move through all of this with unsettling ease. He doesn't rush outcomes because he knows time is working in his favor. His presence now feels permanent, almost normalized, and that's the real danger. When power settles quietly, it becomes difficult to challenge. Every solution he provides deepens reliance on him, and every success strengthens his position. By the end of the episode, it's clear that removing him would cause more damage than keeping him, and that realization locks everyone into place. Cooper's storyline closes the episode on a different kind of tension. The excitement he once had is gone, replaced by something heavier and more real. Responsibility arrives all at once, not gradually. The idea of family, commitment, and long-term consequences starts pressing down on him, and for the first time, he doesn't run from it. He's shaken, but he's listening. Accepting the job isn't about money anymore. It's about survival and learning how this world actually works. Ariana becomes the quiet anchor in this part of the episode. She doesn't push or lecture. She simply stays. Her presence forces Cooper to confront the future he's stepping into, whether he's ready or not. The weight of potential fatherhood, marriage, and adulthood collides all at once, and there's no escape route. This is how Landman handles growth. Not through speeches, but through pressure. Characters evolve because the world refuses to wait for them. By the time episode 6 ends, the brilliance of it becomes clear. No explosions. No dramatic arrests. Just decisions that permanently alter direction. Cammy stands stronger than ever, but more isolated. Tommy remains capable, but increasingly sidelined. Cooper steps onto a path he can't abandon. And Galino stands quietly in control, not because he demanded it, but because everyone else allowed it. That's why Landman Season 2 Episode 6 is amazing. It doesn't shock you with chaos. It traps you with inevitability. And as the episode fades out, one question hangs heavy in the air. When the consequences finally arrive, who will still be standing when the dust settles?